linking up with this season and also supplying all our fans with, well, all the goods they could ever want. And you can see on screen there, the boys in black and red. Those jerseys are magnificent, and they're going to wear them with pride. I think that does show that we can see as well that Nolan will not be playing, and it will be Jerome playing on Inferno. Because I guess, do you want to take this one because you're a little bit more well-versed in something like this?
Yeah, Jerome and me and Jammer had a conversation a couple of weeks back in one of their first best of threes, and Jerome's like, Inferno is my map. I'm too old and too busy to be playing all the rest of them to prac.
Oh, wow.
Okay, speaking of pracking, Hybrid's been pracking with this pistol. At least anybody picks up 4, looking for number 5. Doesn't quite get it in the end, and FNK stops the ace, but Loki will clear him out in the end. We'll come back to my point, Randy.
Yeah.
You
can continue your point now.
Jerome basically said, like, I'm too old and I'm too busy to be practicing multiple maps, so I'd rather jump into an Inferno where I know my stuff.
What a round!
That's a tasty pistol round. Yeah, I mean that's as good as you want it, right? For your first open round from pistol, pick up 4-piece immediately, get all that extra cash in the bank as well, also, and it kind of sets the tone, right, for the rest of this map.
Yeah, not necessarily the player you would have expected from this Belief side to perform such great heroics early on, but they'll take it with open arms. And the Prodigies now, they will not be buying into this one. Just a few upgraded pistols across the board. When I say few, I mean a single one on FNK. The rest will just be on the Glocks for round number 2, saving for the next gun round.
Seen some wild shots with the Eagle from FNK over this season, so who knows? He might be able to secure 1 or 2. There is potential push coming through from the CTs. They're stacked like they are going to make some efforts down towards the mid control, but at the minute they've got a player to contend with. That's going to be TVS covering that back line, something that we've seen him do more often than not when he's not got a scout or open hand. The rest of the players from Prodigies, whoever, are stacked up ready to push into this A side.
Also, something that I didn't mention as well, me and Mr. Strux used to play in a team together. We played.
Did you really?
Yeah, we played Open a couple seasons ago together.
Yeah,
he was our IGL, so I think that's something that we were talking about, the secondary voices. Straxy playing on the young ninjas side, or like boys in pajamas, whatever they were called at that time. He IGL'd those rosters, or was at least a second caller. So he's not necessarily one anymore, but he still has that, that potency to have that voice behind him. And I think something that you were saying with the IGL leading the way, and then Straxy, among others, being able to pick up and do mid-round calls. However, we are going to go to comms for the first gun round.
Straxy, you try to go into the smoke left side, and if SPT kills one, you sneak through the smoke and refrag.
Okay. Flashing. Flashing one more. I have one more flash if needed.
One for it.
Nice, he's
on the wall. On the wall.
Nice, let's go together.
I'm going B, I'm running B.
Go B.
Take ruins.
That's both B players dead.
One
CT,
CT.
CT, one on.
You coming, Sebos?
Yeah, wait,
3,
I'm with you.
2, 1. Jumping in.
Just
Watch
go
out
to
the
left.
boost,
Wait for you.
smoke.
I'm re-smoking deep city.
I'm on this one.
I'm coming to you guys for
I have full banana.
Okay,
I'm peeking on you guys.
Should I peek? We have 3 smokes and a molly, boys.
Yeah, they will be saving, don't use
should be.
it. We can save banana, guys.
Yeah,
We
let's
are
go
full
banana.
HP.
Come back, Straxy. I'll flash CT to cross.
Nice, good fucking entry. Easy.
Easy, bro. Flashing.
It could be T-spawn.
You just stay here in banana, we are safe.
Yeah.
When you come.
Seems like you like to jump on my head.
It's worth,
Something I want to say, I didn't realize that their coach was live with them, because I heard that's Frog in the back. Yeah, that was Frog. Yeah, something we didn't mention was that they've got like a whole coaching staff behind them, which is definitely going to help, especially these younger teams. And as well, like the IGL, we're talking about FNK, it's going to help him so much having such a strong coaching staff behind him. And was Frog already having input in this game in the first round we listened to?
Yeah, he's been very, very vocal in the back lines, like keeping, it's kind of it's a strange scenario to be in. FNK is very like push him, get the round over, get those kills in, get those entries sorted, get that utility stacked up the right way, and then you hear Frog in the background who's like that cool, calm, collective voice of reason, so to speak. Kind of like take time. You got 5 minutes. You haven't got a lot. You haven't got a huge amount of worry. Like you haven't got a huge amount of rush to get out of this one. So it's nice to have those kind of two contrasted methods, not butting heads, but like working together and meshing quite nicely together. Not for me to lose your train of thought, of course, because looking at the way things are at the minute, Prodigies are trying to get us back in line, at least anyway, as far as watching this matchup. See that again, pushing towards A side. This will be another execute towards A, since our pistol rounds, but this time obviously with a bit more weaponry and firepower to bring to bear.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Milky clearing out the B bomb site momentarily, he can allow for Shike to rotate over. Hasn't got his weapon of choice in his hand, only the A1F, but he'll do good with it. 2 kills for the good. And it just leaves Jerome and Straxy left in a 2 versus 4. Not much utility, none on Straxy to be exact, and Jerome already dinked down. 20 seconds left. This round's looking nullified, especially with the bomb in the grasps of the Believe Gaming side, and it will be the Prodigies to save on round number 4 and extend the lead further for the Bulgarians.
Yeah, definite save round from both Jerome and Straxy. I think if he managed to get that pit player, Jerome, without taking any damage or with catching him on the timing, for example, it's somewhat achievable at that point. They've got good utility to get themselves pushed into A side, but the minute he gets that tap, it's like, right, back off. There's no need. Don't lose 2 AKs where we can bring him into the next round. Retain essentially and do that damage that you're missing. That's wonderful, by the way, from Shaki. Just swings out. There's that moment where there's a potential for there to be a flashbang. TVS bites into it, and yeah, that's all she wrote as far as that round's concerned. Buying deep though into this round.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
that.
especially with the saved, and you had so many players here live last round, it's all allowed Milky getting a very aggressive into the jaws of TVS, and will come out on top. This CT side looking very good in both late and early rounds. Can they maintain this man advantage? We haven't seen that much so far to see if, will they be good in these 4 versus 5s? How do they play? Right now it's good. They've rotated 1 player off to back towards the A bomb site, and they've just left Hybrid with a full belt of utility to just patrol.
I don't see why they don't either. I mean, like, you've got Hybrid who's, frankly, stacked for cash at the minute. If he's going to continue his run of terror, essentially, so far from the CT side, for him to stay 1 man up B, with the utility he has available, he's had a lot drop for him as well, also by the rotation player. Like, he can really afford to kind of extend that reach out a little bit more into Banana. That's why we see that Molotov get thrown through Hybrid, is there to back him up now. It's a matter of timing from mid. Like Dice will pick up the first against Straxy. Hybrid uses that momentum to swing into T-side players, and SBT falls. This is not looking good, and the round is over.
Well, it's a flawless round for the CT side. It's just perfect from them. There's a great little bait and switch from top Banana and bottom mid. Really nicely done. Calculated aggression comes out on top. And you see the Prodigies maybe just a little bit like, oh, okay, that was a very quick fruition of just failure for them. You can see Frog CS on the screen, the man who always loves to tell me if I made grammatical errors on articles. And now the Prodigy is just on a hero AK for FNK. The IGL going to show his team how it's done. The problem is it's already off to a bad start for the Prodigies in this round. And it's just getting worse.
Yeah. See what I really like that CT play.
Okay,
There's the
Straxy.
dig. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We've seen some insane 1Ds coming from Prodigies throughout the entirety of the season. When they're in rounds like this, where it's like all or nothing as such, but you got to dig deep and kind of lay that damage out where you possibly can. Straxy comes out on top of that 1D from mid. Nothing recovered off the back of it, though.
Like I was gonna say, at what cost? 3 players have died. Straxy does have armor, I guess, but then they've got 2 flashbangs. Yeah, at what cost?
Yeah, you're not going to retain anything out of it. I think it just, again, it's one of those moments of setting the tone more or less. Keep swinging mid, and I'll keep trying to lay some damage into you. I don't favour this push, however, but FNK comes out on top. He is taken out in the end by Scrimmo. immediately rotates back as if he's going to get pushed from apps, but it's not coming that way, my friend. Straxy's on the hunt. That smoke deployed will send the wrong message to him, and Scrimble will finish him off with 18 HP to spare.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that Straxy, he's got in his mentality there, he wants to get the kill fast, then he can just get the bomb down and post plant. So that smoke, he's pre-fired the natural one way, and we'll be going into comms for this next gun round.
Okay.
Drop one more flash while running, guys, on the fence, yeah? There.
I'll drop one.
Flashing, boom, flashing.
They're taking
Stand back.
B.
10 back HP.
I'm
Riven.
full white.
Dead.
Dead.
I'm dead. I'm coming back B.
Q flash.
One mid.
Banana.
One mid.
Yeah, I'm flashing deep. Boom.
Don't see.
Ruins. He's ruins.
Yeah,
Coffin.
ruins, okay.
Where's your close? Smoke.
We can do exec.
I have one smoke, 2 flashes.
I can do the smoke CT molly triple.
Yeah, do the combo ruins, Jerome, you know? Give it to me if not. Give me the smoke.
Okay, I can do it.
Okay, do it.
I mean, you want to do it from there?
Give me the smoke, yeah, I will do the molly as well. Just do flashes
Okay.
for us, Jerome.
Okay.
Do the smoke.
First. Yeah.
God.
It's great gunplay, great team play as well, coming in from Believe Game in there. That pot flash to get Hybrid that little bit more room to maneuver. But just a little bit too slow on the execute, I think, for Prodigy. I think if they can start using that utility, just that touch quicker, you know, they're going to catch players like that off guard as they're setting themselves up, right?
Yeah, I mean, completely. I think all around that, it's just you can the indecisiveness from FNK there. It was like a really unfortunate comms there. Just like you can, I'll do it. Oh, I can do it if you want. No, I'll do it. Okay, no, come back. Like it's just like the really awkward moments where, especially when you're at the finals of intermediate, you can't be making those mistakes. It's very early doors. We've got a very long series ahead of us, so hopefully mistakes like this, especially because we've got a pause coming in here, you especially know that I feel like Frog is able just to sit back and go like, relax, breathe, calm yourself down. 6-1. It's a good early lead for Believe. The Prodigy is now, they've got a long way, as I was saying, to go. They've got a lot of time to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, of course, this isn't the best of one like we've seen throughout the rest of the series. This is a best of 3. Like we're in that territory of, okay, you can have a bad start to map 1. You've still got the rest of the half of map 2 as well as, rest of the half of map 1 as well as map 2 and 3 to bounce back from. Kind of bite your tongue a little bit and allow things to materialize as best they possibly can. I have a bone to pick with you, though. You mentioned earlier on playing in the open with Straxy. I popped a tweet out earlier on this week. I think it was actually just before the weekend about potentially wanting myself, in fact, to take part in the ESEA Open next season and get absolutely. I just know that if I did it, I get destroyed by all these wonderful teams that are jumping into the mix over the next season. Your thoughts? If I put myself together a team, what are you thinking? It's not going to happen, is it?
We'll talk about after the game, because right now we have got an attempted B rush, but the counter utility right now is just really good from Believe. These pistols have been just blind after blind after blind, and I don't even know if they're going to get one. You can see the absolute confidence as well from Milky there. Straxy looking to get a clip here with the Deagle. Oh, he lines them up, but doesn't quite connect the head, Sean. Okay, I was getting very excited there, but what's your general level then, Mr. Reperceive? If we're going in for an open season, what's the general level?
I mean, I am your quintessential Gold Nova 2 player.
You are in the nicest possible. You're gonna get slapped around. Open is.
I think I might leave it this season.
Open's decent. Especially you've got Case Esports playing in European Open, who are major winners on that team. And you have the average is 3k elo plus, which is annoying. And I'm 2.9. I struggle in open. But right now the Prodigies, they're struggling a little bit right now with just getting anything going after his first gun round. TVS does have the AWP out, but he is 0-7. James Bond style hasn't had the AWP yet, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But can he change our hearts and minds now?
Yeah, he's kind of mistimed a shot there towards Banana very early on in the round. it's where you kind of place him to get these opening picks that you need him to really, kind of, need the rest of the team to kind of materialize on the back of. And this bit aggression from Prodigies can sometimes bode well, depending on where players are set up. Like Dice in a good position to lay some early damage out. SBT and Straxy falling victim to all those shots. How has SBT got away with that? I have no idea.
Yeah, neither. But on the flip side of it, Believe Gaming have been pincered in. You have now SBD clearing out CT, so they can focus all their attention on site and pit. And well, it's just going better and better, especially with TVS catching off the flank. But as I'm just saying this, the CT side and the crossfire holding true. 25 seconds left. Because of the aforementioned flank that has been eliminated, the Prodigies are instantly just straight away running towards the B bomb site. They have a full belt of utility on Straxy. That's going to be able to just bode well with taking this bomb site. But Milky not dropping that Molotov fast enough. Being flashed through. There's no time left. 6 seconds. But it doesn't even matter because Milky, what unbelievable utility usage from Believe. We were talking about that in last round. And look, it's just proved again. I thought Prodigies had that.
Yeah, I mean, the rotation came out just in time. They had plenty of time to get themselves to the site. Strax, as you mentioned, a full belt utility. He's got 23-ish seconds or something like that to get himself into position. Pops a really good smoke to stop that advance from Milky, but Milky doesn't allow that to happen. He's happy to push through that smoke. He pops that Molotov just down to the right hand side to buy himself a little bit of extra time, and he makes it work. This utility usage from Believe has just been unreal. I mean, there you go again. You get a double nade pushed down onto Banana.
That's Hybrid's third nade kill.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know how you can really combat against it at the minute, to be completely truthful. The pot flashes are swinging through, FNK falls victim to Hybrid, and it's just not looking good at the minute. We go 9-1 so far in the first half, and it has pretty much been all Believe constantly. We've had that one good gun round out of Prodigies in round 3. But yeah,
really.
I don't know.
Good round.
I don't really know.
Good round as well. They kept like 4 alive. It was nice, and 9-1 down is not good, especially on Inferno. It's one of the few or the only map that actually can be considered T side. I need to check. I need to start checking some earlier statistics, but especially IEM Cologne. It was the first time we saw a map actually be T sided. So especially I think at this level, it wouldn't be as prominent, but it's still at a level where you are playing to the standard of, I think, it being a T-sided map. Because sometimes you'd see at lower levels it's still BC-sided, as it is easier to be BC-sided, naturally, just as how CS works. But for 9-1, this is a very dominant start on the Prodigy's map pick. This doesn't bode well for the rest of the series.
Something else we need to take into consideration, right, is the mentality of it. I mentioned this not last game, the game prior to that. You win on your opponent's map pick. That sets quite a high precedent for your own map pick following up straight after. Believe Gaming can continue to apply this pressure into the T side of things. Then, we switch into Ancient, which is their map pick of choice. Prodigy had a good game against Yasuski, back on the 6th on Ancient, but they need to start digging deep, and they need to start digging deep early on, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, the set plays like this is when you got to fall back on the gimmicks that you might have. And they're taking brackets control really nicely right here. Light Dice will get boosted above the smoke. Won't see anyone immediately. And SBT, he's actually going to crawl under his scope, but gets found on the jump peak. And then on the fadeaway, Light Dice finds the headshot. The nade does trade, but onto the AWPer. So that in itself is a decent trade, but Believe still have 3 players mostly towards the A bomb site. Light Dice has rotated it a little bit away, but with 35 seconds left, the Prodigies, they do have a lot of utility. That is the one thing they have in their pockets.
25 seconds left on the clock. This execute needs to start materializing relatively quickly, especially when you have players deep into the side control. I mean, Milky's in a very good position to get this crossfire set up. Just a matter of timing at the minute. Scrimmel, I mean, he's obviously going to advance out to the right-hand side of that. You'll pick up the first, but Jerome will finish him off. Like Dice picks up TVS, the bomb gets stopped, and Milky clears house.
Standard. I think that's kind of what we anticipated towards the end there. Just a little bit too slow from the Prodigies. They're 9 rounds to the wayside right now, and it's really not looking good for them. 10-1. Hopefully they can start switching it up. The bomb doesn't even get planted. It would have been a silver lining if they're able to get just a little bit more economy, but little bit just probably a little bit just disappointed with their performance right now. I think is that another pause?
Yeah, this
That's the third. That's the third pause out of 4 used within the first 11 rounds.
I'm not sure who's paused though. In fairness,
I
I mean,
really
you would
doubt
expect
Believe.
it.
I think we can guarantee it isn't Believe, but what we can guarantee is a round full of comms.
Stop
Don't
being
block, don't
scared.
block.
Fuck them, guys.
Let's go, boys.
And wake up, everyone.
Hit it on mid.
Flashing your back.
Don't see it.
They play retake.
Dead.
They do retake nades. Only one B.
Flashing over.
There is ruins.
Guys, fuck him.
And ruins and 2B.
I'm full white.
Okay, go.
Yeah, ruins.
Careful.
Taking ruins.
Can you smoke runes, guys?
Going to
Okay,
take the
go.
top.
Taper,
Triple,
taper,
triple.
Side.
taper,
Holding
HP.
ruins, holding ruins.
Blind.
Dead ruins, dead ruins.
Alfred. Wait,
Triple.
wait, wait.
Triple, coming, I'm coming. Dead. One CT, one
CT.
CT.
3v2.
You have
Wait,
one
I'm
more.
going triple. I'm molotoving ruins.
Can you smoke city?
Fuck CT.
No,
I'm coming.
You have nothing, guys.
No smoke.
Hey, forensic for us.
Contact already.
Left side. Left side.
Ruins.
Oh my god, bro. They just fucking push, man.
Frustrations starting to show, but again, I mean, in rounds like that, you can hear the hesitation, right?
Yorks, especially if you're being dominated to this level. The
Mm.
Prodigies are they are playing their own game. Believe
Yeah.
are just being hyper aggressive, and it was like almost highlight. You know, they always push, man. Let's like, yeah, they do. To be fair, again, look, double flashing into second mid. They've got this space over on the B bomb site. Milky playing behind the Molotov. You get these weird little one ways, and he's gonna take perfect advantage of it. Hybrid just has to make sure that he doesn't lose his life unnecessarily. He's got the rotations. Believe are just looking so clinical with everything they do. And the Prodigies have just got to the bomb site, and Scrimo is already at top banana. Straxy will expect it. Does he expect a second? I'm not too sure. No. All up to SBT now. 1 versus 2. 17 HP, a Galil, and a Dream.
So a matter of timing here, and if he can catch one player off,
Yeah,
he isn't able to. Yeah. Yeah, it's not looking good for Map 1, unfortunately. And this, again, you know, it's a bit of a shocker more than anything when you think about it because of how well Prodigies have played this map. But you're right in what you're saying. Like, Prodigies are playing their own game, Believe are playing their own game, but they're just playing just that little bit more. The word used is clinical, and I don't think there's a better word for it, to be completely honest with you. They're clearing all their frags. They're making sure that they're using the utility to the most advantage they can possibly get out of it. They're using that advantage, right? Like Milky's in that position there. There's a Molotov just in front of him. You know, yes, he's caught between a rock and a hard place, but he makes it work. He picks up 2 frags for the better as a result before he gets taken out of the fight. It's a lot of unnecessary damage being received by the Prodigies in situations that could be cleared. I mean, that there is an
What
insane
can
kill.
what can you do about that?
You can't fight
That's a
that, can you?
tilter.
Right?
Yeah,
Like-
it's a pure tilt. Like, this is again the pure aggression. We've got Hybrid down bottom banana. He will actually finally be put into the ground. Strax is going to just take advantage of some of the space, force back Milky. But yeah, like, again, the aggression, you just got everyone pushing. So I just realized that apart from, let's move Hybrid out of the equation. No one else is dying. Everyone else
No.
has, in 13 rounds played, maximum 4 deaths, apart from Hybrid. We take Hybrid out of this. But the Prodigy just aren't getting kills. However, as I'm saying that, they are now, and it's looking good until Scrimo and Milky line them up. And even though there was only 4 players left alive, Believe stacked them all towards the A bomb site, 13-1. Beautiful from the Bulgarians.
Yeah, they're just reading into the gameplay. Very much. They're a very attentive CT side from Believe Gaming, which you don't want to see a team get absolutely. Yeah, I hate to use the word, but like battered on a map.
Oh, no,
but
they're
Believe
being
Gaming have done
battered.
everything. Yeah, Believe Gaming have done everything to make that word come to full fruition essentially. And it's just been like an onslaught of punishment, right? Like there's just a continuous amount of utility being used in the right possible places to get the maximum amount of damage, to get the maximum amount of room to maneuver in. It's just, as you said, perfectly clinical.
Yeah, it's just good CS right now from Believe, and they're countering the Prodigies perfectly. However, possibly in this last round, we could see some resurgence of success. These entries are going unanswered momentarily, and again, as I say, it's cast or curse. Back still in the advantage. They are taking a lot of casualties. SBT not quite pushed out into the open, but so far, this post plant is looking good from the T side.
Yeah, they're in pretty good positions to retain this bomb control. I mean, Hybrid and Milky's got enough guns to play around with, so he can continue to span through that smoke as much as he wants to. He'll pick up SBT in the end. Hybrid playing the back lines. He knows that pit's clear now at this point, so he only really has to focus into site control. Jerome picks him up, and Jerome clutches that last final round out.
Big plays from the man himself, Jerome Coupez, showing everyone how it's done. You can see him just in the nerves, cool as cucumber. He's there like, you know what, we're chilling. 1 versus 2, day in the life for me. But the problem is, yeah, I think that's perfectly just sums up what I was about to say. You can just imagine these guys are not looking happy. This is potentially genuinely some of the biggest games for some of these players. I think especially Straxy, I would say this is probably their biggest game. And he's down 13-2 in the first of their map pick. However, we will go to ads, and let's see if after these ads the Prodigies can make a comeback.
Welcome back. We're going to be heading more likely straight into the second half of map 1. Me and you kind of had like a very brief conversation while we had the ads on. It's just, how do you compete against a CT side like that, where it's just that constant pressure and there is no let up of that pressure? I mean, even in the gun round that Prodigy put on the board in the third round, immediately straight after, the pressure was reapplied, right? There was no release valve, nothing. They just went straight back into the swing of things, like nothing really happened. It's a difficult one to really match up against when you're on a map like this, where your expectations are already set as being an easy kind of ride for Prodigies, and then you go up against a team like Believe, which are, well, digging deep and believing in themselves.
Yeah, you can tell they believe in themselves by just some of the swings they're doing. It's just like no hesitation, and that's something we mentioned, that Prodigies have the hesitation. And speaking about the confidence, it's just shown right here. It's just they're so fast. They're so just confident whatever they do, and they've got the man advantage. Jerome's on 1 HP. Shaik has pushed in so far. They will check him, but like it just doesn't matter. And as the support is well there from some of these players. Hybrid just straight away on the swing. Shaik, he's going for the ace right now. Jerome's on 1 HP. He's so close to the grave. The problem is Scrimo is looking to steal that away from him, and he will get the high HP player. But Jerome still all by himself. 1 versus 2 actually. This is very winnable.
I was going to argue against you, but I wanted to believe myself, to be honest with you, for a minute. That 1 HP in a dream, you've seen it happen before, right? 2 lucky taps, one after another, and it's,
that's what
straight
I was
back
imagining,
into side. In my head, that's all I saw. 14-2 is the scoreline. However, we start to get to the potential dying stages of map 1 already, as some would say. 42 minutes deep into map 1, that is. Yeah, I mean, again, I want to kind of bring the point back up that you raised earlier on. This is, again, Prodigy's map pick, right? This is gonna get, exactly. It's gonna get worse and worse as time goes on.
I was talking about this round. Sorry, yeah, this round's just getting it's just everything's gone wrong already.
FNK dropping like that, definitely.
They can't catch it. They can't catch a break. Like, he even gets the timing on one of the players. Like, he literally gets the timing on the player reloading. There's still just, was it Shaik holding the AK? Jerome, I mean, he has to do magical stuff here. Straxy, you seem like the only one that's getting consistent kills. Okay, buddy. Nice little 1D down banana, but one expects the 4th member to be at B. And you can see him giggling a little bit to himself, but to himself will be all he can, because I can imagine it just doom and gloom in TeamSpeak after this tragic scoreline. But one thing to counteract what you're saying with the maps is that, yes, it is not their map pick going into Ancient. However, these are maps that Prodigies are all competent on, so it's not end of the world, but they do at least get to start on the city side over an Ancient.
Yeah, and the other thing I need to probably take into consideration myself as well, we'll see a swap out of players, right? Jerome will step back, Nolan will switch himself into the mix. You know, who knows what that will bring in a map like Ancient.
Sorry, 15
and potentially
seconds.
Dust 2.
It's 15 seconds, less than 15 seconds, they already have top banana control. Within 20 seconds, they're already executing on this B-bomb side. This is just so dominant. FNK gets caught on the reload. Jerome, I mean, he can try his best. TVS is going to try support, but it won't be to much success. SBT and Straxy, they've got everything to do now. Can they? It's going to be very, very difficult. And that's a very good start with the Deagle. Milky and Hybrid, low HP. This would definitely be a retake of the Ages if they're able to succeed.
I don't think they're going to realize Straxy's... Yeah, I was going to say, I think they might have thought that Straxy was going to come up through Banana. Oh, gets one. It's 1v1. Hybrid's holding back at Banana control. He does have a grenade in hand, actually, that he potentially could use.
I mean, there's no time. Yeah,
No
he's got
time.
a kit.
Yeah,
he literally can't win. And he just goes ring around the rosy in the smokes. I mean, like, what? He gets the consolidation frag. Yeah, that's really rough for them. 16-2. The Prodigies get, I mean, annihilated. Doesn't even come close. Believer looking like the much stronger team in this matchup already. The demoralization in everyone's faces right there. And let's see if there can be any resurgence. Some of these players were a little bit more experienced than the others, looking to lift up some of the younger players' potential, especially having players like Jerome and Frog on the extremities of this squad. So not necessarily like I think Jerome maybe not as much, but Frog, who's kind of sitting on the back end, like a bit of an older player, being like, "Okay, wake up, let's reset each other." But it's going to be very hard, Reaper.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think we're going to take a small break just while we get set up ready for map 2. Probably a bit longer than normal. Give the guys a chance to chill themselves out a little bit. But when we return, we'll be back with map 2, and that will be Ancient. I will be here, although it's just Jeremy at the minute on screen for you.
Oh, I can, yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah. Hey guys, just seeing everyone. But yeah, I think we are going to a short break. Big shout out to all our partners down below. Scope.gg, Refrag, CSmoney, and Razer. We've got giveaways for Razer and CSmoney. I think in chat's Rio de Janeiro. Big shout out to everyone who made it from the Prodigy Agency to the major. The list is like endless. But we're going to see some highlights here, and then we will go to a break afterwards. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you in a short bit for map 2. I mean, like, he has to be. There isn't like, oh, can he be the game changer? Like, he has to be the game changer. It's also, we saw, I think, the likes of Straxy hitting a few shots as well in the mix of things. But by and large, like, no one else was. TVS was 0 and 7. I don't think I saw him get a single AWP kill at all during the game. Maybe one. If that's even a consideration, that, okay, he got one AWP kill. That's not great. The Prodigies, they have a lot to do. I'm definitely looking at players like FNK and TVS to step up, and it's SPT. Honestly, all of them, because they're all individually amazing players. And well, they're going to start off with a bang, as there is going to be a B rush. The problem is the Prodigies have 3 players committed towards the A bomb site, and SPT, he's going to get charged down. They're going to be looking for him, and he will actually. I mean, he's down enemy lines. He's in the smoke on the bomb site.
He can catch 2 players off guard here quite easily. Gets the first there, that's Scrimmo. Yeah, he gets the second maybe.
Ooh, close.
Mate, Shaki's just been hitting every shot that he puts out, right? Like, he's been super deadly in that first map with the AK, now with the Glock as well. He's left to Nolan TVS. I say that, I get shut down immediately as TVS is the last man standing. He hasn't hit much with an AWP, but he's got 2 already with the USP. He's looking for 2 more, gets a 3rd. He's not got time to tap this. No utility, no bomb, no defusal kit. I'll get my words right around here at some point. You will survive the blast though, but yeah, too little too late there with the pushback. I think, as you mentioned perfectly, excuse the motorcycle that drives past my house at 8 PM every single night, does my head in, trust me. I think you're right when you're saying, though, that stack up on a site just doesn't pay off. The rotation's not there quick enough as well. Also, by the time they get into a position that's decent to do the retake, they've already lost too much as far as numbers. I kind of want to hear this comms round. I want to hear what the guys are saying.
I instantly go cave.
I smoke deep. I'm flashing left.
Someone peeking.
Mid clear.
They smoked. They smoked.
Don't see
I'm in the
B.
step. One step
back
in
here.
B, 2B.
1 B. 2 B.
Close
Okay.
ninja.
Okay, just.
I'm coming
You're
out.
popping B, swapping B.
I'm
I
going
crash
back
in front of
CT.
pillar. Boom. Back outside cave.
1 HP outside.
1,
Two side,
2.
two side.
Mid is open.
Yeah, outside, side.
You can boost long, go long with
QB,
me.
QB,
three
bro.
there. 1 HP.
Close long. Close. Dead.
I'm with you.
Oh, they've seen them
One
from
more.
sure. Peeking.
He's long.
He's digging things there.
He's long.
1 more, it's 1 HP.
You have no kit.
Unfortunate times there. Attempt from Nolan, but as you heard at the end, no kit. There's just nothing he can do there. Is it like 15 seconds? He still hasn't found either of the two players that will be Believe Gaming onto their second. Really just looking good for the Bulgarians continuously. And this is when the Hungarian player in Nolan, this is for him to step up. This is when he's here now. I think he understands the pressure. And at least he saved the A1S, so it's silver linings, but again, at what cost? And the cost is your second round, and his team will be forced onto a pretty much an eco here.
Mate, this dynamic duo between Shike and Hybrid is just you've really got to they've got to try and figure out some way of kind of sectioning these two players off and stopping the onslaught that they've been really pushing out. And I mean it's been a constant onslaught from the pair of them since map 1. Oh, there's that kill from Shike. He will get 2, actually 3 for the better in the end.
Oh, so low.
Scrimmer will help clear things out. That's A1S. Put to good effect by Nolan. Does manage to pick up 1, but it's just not quite enough to dig deep into. And he's not got the support there either, right? I mean, he's a man on an island at that point. He's getting players rotating into him to give him that somewhat of an assistance. But by the time they get there, that M4 is dropped, and Scrimmo is more than happy to sit there waiting for that repeak.
Yeah, in that scenario, you want to be getting at least 2, I think. And the USP did well; they did a lot of damage, but they only got 1 kill for their troubles. Now, back on the full guns, the Prodigy is storming down towards B. A lot of utility being expended onto this. They're going all or nothing right now, and Straxy pretty much by himself. The grenades doing a lot of damage, and especially with SBT on the headshots. It will be trades, and it will favor Believe Gaming for now.
Do they expect SBT to be in that position, though? Because, I mean, as you mentioned rightly, there's a lot of utility usage there to kind of push back that onslaught of players heading towards site. SBT kind of having the entirety of mid to himself. Has he been spotted by Shake? I don't know if we saw.
No, he wouldn't have.
Perhaps too late. No.
Nolan definitely has, though, and he will scarper back towards that bomb site, taking cover. And TVS, he's got a duel here on middle against Shike. Has to win it. He has to. If he doesn't, well, he might still find him. I'm just looking at the minimap. It could, but I'm not too sure. However, SBT, he's on the flank now. He hears them, and he will get checked, but he will win his duel. Finally, something going well for the Prodigies, and Shike will take space towards A. Do Believe follow him. It seems like they will, but they are going to leave. They're going to leave Hybrid in cave.
Oh, it's all going the way of Prodigies now. All those frags that are like must-win 1v1 deals fall in their favour. Milky's now last man standing in a 1v3. He's going to be coming up against TVS, who is looking the wrong way with the M4, but 10 seconds left in the clock. There's not going to be a lot of time for him to get into a good post-plant position here after these players rotate into position. Oh, he's good for the first against SBT. It's now 1v1 with Nolan. Matching almost for HP here. Doesn't have a kit again, though, so we'll have to commit to that push early. No utility either. Oh, actually, as I say, he picks up a flash. Here's the commentator.
It's not going to help him too much. And oh, he doesn't check his right. Oh, he doesn't check to his right. Milky just out in the open. Then we'll catch the timing and Believe Gaming 4-0. Ooh, that was not a round they should have won.
No, that really wasn't. Milky's like just pulling that out of the bag when I hate to say it like this, but they didn't really deserve to win that round. I mean, every kill went in favor of Prodigies, and yeah, it's just not checking that right hand side, and you can see it kind of out away a little bit there for a few minutes potentially while they get ready in for the next. But yeah, check that right hand side, and we're in a completely different scenario. We're on a pause, however. I think for me at the minute, it's trying to, as I mentioned earlier on, section off these players. Right, you've got that duo partnership between Hybrid and Shake, who has just been tearing apart Prodigies on the on the rotations, as we saw them do in map 1. You know, yes, we're very early on in map 2, but they need to start thinking now, how can they stop that onslaught before it becomes too much of a train that's unstoppable.
I think especially as well, looking at the context of just everything, the map, the scoreline, the last, Believe Gaming, the more rounds they get, the just easier it's going to get. I think if they get 6, that's probably game over, unless we see heroics on the T side. And right now, these pistols are getting up close and personal, and FNK, okay, hit 2 shots already, looking for more. We'll pick up the AK before he falls. The Prodigy is still in an even 3 versus 3, but again, they're just on the pistols. It's going to be very hard for them. It's definitely possible, especially with the bomb out on Hybrid so far, but these AKs, they are just proven to be a little bit too strong, especially with utility landing on TVS and Straxy following in pursuit. 5-0, Believe Gaming. That seemed a little bit dangerous for a second, but no one else could really do much, and we will be going to the comms now for this gun round.
Just smoke deep. And
You smoke deep or you want me to smoke deep?
I can do it.
or
I'm gonna molly
actually
close. Come on guys, wake up.
do double molly first and then you smoke the molly, yeah? I will
Yeah.
molly close. Someone molly deep.
I will
I'm nading.
block the cave.
Molly deep.
Flashing
Yeah.
behind the
Naded.
box.
Flashing one low.
I flashed. They smoked donut.
They smoke cave.
They're doing gans.
Careful, Evan.
Heaven.
Think for
Heaven.
Evan.
Yeah.
Blind, I'm full blind.
Mid, do you smoke deep guys?
One more.
Two more B. Or mid.
I'm mid.
Let's fight
Not
together.
out.
Let's take banana, team. I'll smoke
Yeah.
doors.
He could have sneaked
Heaven
up
back.
behind Molly before, but
Yeah, I'm leaving cave right now.
Gonna 7.
He can be left.
yeah,
Okay, clear. I go slowly.
I'm gonna peek heaven.
Okay.
Yep,
Don't see
close.
heaven.
Nothing close.
I left mid guys.
Okay, I'm going back.
Yeah, I will just stay here. Careful cave when you go back.
Yeah.
Just play it together, guys.
Could be
You,
window guys.
You can.
Okay, I'm gonna go CT and hold window.
Holding window cross.
He's up at no.
Oh, what timing? I'm behind them.
Think all 3.
All 3.
I will sit here.
Okay.
One is going long. One QB, one long. Two long.
long.
Think both long.
See.
Oh.
Kabi and too long.
Repeat it again.
Man, I thought he had it. I thought SPT had it,
Yeah.
but no, just so... That really just sums up their game, doesn't it? That really just sums it
Yeah.
all up, I think, like, in that one instance, he didn't even do anything wrong. I think, like, you could argue he out-brained himself a wee bit, but also Nolan said it. So don't let him save
Yeah,
one of
he's
the rifles.
pincered, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just you could...
Yeah. The immediate reaction from,
you could
from
just
the
see
webcams
his,
as well.
Yeah, that is perfect. You can just see him. Oh, he's still going, man. He's just not. He's played 6 rounds and he's already lost his head.
Mm. Yeah, I think SPT outbrained himself is definitely a key way of putting it. You know, he's in that really good scenario. He's got 2 players picked up. He knows exactly what positions they're in. You know, the comms are still there as well, also, right? And you can hear that player. You know, the rest of the team is saying, like, you know, there's an extra one long. Okay, take that first initial pick, right? Get that initial amount of damage laid out. Take that player out of the fight, and then, you know, a 2v3 retake becomes a bit more materialistic to work with. You know, yes, SVT may fall, but you know, it gives that extra bit of advantage for the retake players coming in. Speaking of little bits of advantage, Nolan will secure the first kill onto Hybrid. That's one of the danger players taken out in the terrible twosome. That's the second and 3rd player taken down there by SVT. Okay, this is now much more feasible from Prodigy's side, depending on what they can recover. They've got 1 AK out of the mix so far in the hands of Nolan. Bomb control is in mid, essentially, just kind of sat there waiting to be picked back up.
Nolan's
It's almost like
done-
they're aware, right? Oh, sorry, Gunny.
Yeah, I was gonna say Nolan's done well to take the space, but the problem is as soon as they check for him hit, oh, he's caught timing. Okay, that's really good from him there. I was gonna say it could get a little bit difficult if they just walk towards the A bomb site and there's no one there. But right now, Milky left in a 1 versus 3. He's got the first. Has an idea of where Nolan is. Doesn't know where Straxy is. 35 seconds on the clock. To be honest, this is still really dangerous. He's gonna check for Straxy. Straxy only on a deagle. We've hit it. We've seen him hit some deagle shots. He has to do it again, and he will not. Milky brought down to the exact same HP as Nolan. Oh, okay. He's going towards. A. Nolan's going to be making noise. Do they hear that? Don't know how high they have their headphones, but 6 HP versus 6 HP. The Prodigies. This would mean so much to them if they could win this round.
It really would. It might stem the flow, right? Oh, yeah, he's definitely hit the tap.
Wait, he hasn't got it. He ran out of time. Lol.
What?
Okay. So he tapped it and then
He tapped and didn't go for it.
So,
oh wow!
like,
Okay.
You can see Nolan's like, oh, sick. I was like,
Sound.
oh,
No worries.
nice guys, grand, yeah, awesome.
I'll just keep the
Sound.
CK then.
Lovely.
Sound.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think there's like I don't know if you experience like a small glitch sometimes where you can't you tap it and you just can't get it down straight away again. I think that's what's happened. However, great from SPT here in middle, spamming that deagle away, but it actually connects on headshots. Close though, 1 versus 1 from a 2 versus 4. They got that close.
Straxy did good there, right? Get that extra damage laid out to him. Okay, he's not going to win the fight in a 1v1. I'm going to shut for a minute though, because SPT again is behind enemy lines, but isn't able to convert anything off the back of it. And this is again this tempo from Believe Gaming that we saw from map 1, just consistent and straight on the money every time.
So aggressive, so good at utility. TVS isn't even going to get a say in this round with the big green. Operation just survive. Can he? I think he should be good.
Should be. I mean, realistically speaking, 20 seconds left on the clock. He does have hunters out there looking for him. Use that terminology lightly. I mean, Light Dice is the only player really looking for him at the minute, trying to secure those backlines. Yeah, you'll retain that up. There's no way that anyone gets him in this amount of time. Unless by some sort of, random freak accident and caster curse combined kind of stops that from happening, of course. But the AWP will be handy into this round at least anyway. Force around the AWP, or would you say to retain and just keep that max loss bonus for the next round?
I don't think you need to, because you're going to have the AWP regardless next round. Tia's got 5 grand. He's going to have 3,400 next round, so he'll be grand. Everyone else will have a full buy, so I don't think you need to necessarily force the issue, especially when TVS, he's going to kill them all. He's got the first, does get away, but all these flashbangs and the aggression is relentless. Does get away momentarily. FNK here is support the IGL. This is their time to shine, but utility is just continuously so good.
It's just consistency, right? Like that is exactly probably the best terminology to use for Believe Gaming. It's that consistent push, and when it happens, it's not dilly-daddling. It's not kind of like should we, shouldn't we? It's commit every single time.
Just quite unfortunate, isn't it, really? And I mean, the retake is still very much on, but this T side is just mowing them down. They've even got hybrids still coming in. They're not checking for him. There's no defuse kit. SBT has lost the round and 8-1. They didn't have too much going into it, but it gets so tantalizingly close.
Eight to 1 being the scoreline. This is the sort of territory we kind of saw from map 1, right? You're in this sort of scenario now where you need to dig deep, but also you can see it from the players' faces as well, right? That there's that little bit of tilt potentially still there from map 1, and it's seeping into map 2. Yeah.
I think especially because you've got this, you're on the CT side here. This is when you're like, okay, we can get we can get this going, and you're already at such a deficit. You're at such a deficit where it's it's probably it's not looking good. But we'll go to the comms. We will see what they are saying in this next gun round.
Let's go.
I will molly
I'll
close.
smoke
You
deep, I will
just
smoke deep.
smoke deep and flash the box.
I'll smoke deep.
No, I do it. I'm third.
Careful, man, banana. They like to push.
Yeah.
Flashing by the box. I'm rotating to
Hang
B.
They smoked Evan.
They smoke. Can you
They're
flash
boosting
even?
mid.
I can't.
Oh, it's okay, I pick it.
Flash B.
One is ninja.
I'm gonna stay in jungle. Let it smoke mid.
One flash on A.
Then ninja one.
I'm
One more
watching
banana.
A. You are alone.
One more banana.
Have banana pick now. He jump spot.
Yeah, one. Or no, ninja.
I still have A.
Window out. Two out, one more.
Wait,
Dead.
I'm flashing in front of you.
One
They
One
will
outside
outside
get
B.
flashing in
One
front.
still
Heaven.
towards B.
Heaven. When he needed me.
One
One
cave.
cave.
Try to cross back. And box. Dead.
I see
Blind.
that.
Blind, last Evan.
I'll take
3
care.
versus 1.
Coming to you,
Holding
man.
Still
Yeah.
Evan.
One double
Just
B.
double pick. Yeah.
3.
3, 2,
Hit
1.
cave.
Let's work.
Alright.
It doesn't have bomb, I
Oh,
think.
there.
Cave. We just hold him. He's
Hey.
7.
He
Come with
might
me,
know.
come with me.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the wall.
Still, I'm not far.
Play together, guys.
So he can be banana.
Banana.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh.
Good.
Great round, no one.
Up
Cave
cave and
entrance.
right.
Cave entrance.
I thought cave
Bro, they
outside.
jumped
can
to
drop
the
it.
mid smoke with
My
no
bad.
flash.
You want him?
Just, guys,
Yep.
just
Oof, that was close.
Good
If he
round.
just connected that shot, that would have been round over if he just connected it. But no, yeah, good round as you said.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to, like highlight a moment here in a second. SBT's taking these solo plays, right? He's going 1v3 against, like a full stack of players there. Doesn't give it anything off the back of it. It just, hero plays don't really work out that well when you're in this sort of scenario, as much of a deficit as you are. And you can quickly become the villain of your own kind of expectation. He doesn't convert anything off the back of it, and then there's these little silly plays that kind of sneak through. That was a lineup there that Believe Gaming could have, in theory, converted off. Speaking of converting, though, Nolan will get one onto Milky, and TVS finally shines through a big green. Take out Shike.
Ooh, Scrummer though in a very good position.
Scrimmer.
Won't hold the trigger discipline, and it will actually matter. Still though, 2 versus 3, the A bomb site isn't in immediate control for the Prodigies. They have TVS holding down A main, which will force Hybrid to rotate towards middle, which, to be honest, actually might favor them as they can just play a double setup towards Donut right now. 3 versus 2 retake. You have 2 kits, a fair bit of utility, enough to make it work, and FNK will be leading the charge alongside Straxy on these AKs.
Going to force those mistakes out of Believe Gaming. The smoke is going to start things off. Like Dice is able to spray through it and get Straxy. FNK's in a good position there to convert at least one, but
no.
he isn't able to, and that's
5 seconds. He's got it.
Can he?
He's got it.
No
Oh,
way.
what a ninja defuse. And he even gets the no scope. Saves the AWP. Ooh, that is hype from the AWPer. Nicely done indeed. And that is why he's on this roster. That's why we were highlighting him for that exact play. Just like that. And whoa, sigh of relief from the Prodigies right there. Just like a, whew, we actually got away with that. No.
The best thing about that is that he isn't. Oh, there you go, Bulgaria. Where are you? This is more like the Prodigy
way.
side that we're used to
He's
seeing.
almost
By
just
the way, a
falling
little
off
bit of
his-
happiness. I can't believe that.
Someone clip that. Clip that, clip that, clip that, please. That is amazing.
This is exactly why I love the production value that comes with these games, is because you can see moments like that, which you'd only hear about on Twitter afterwards, right? Like no one would ever be able to see that in a normal tournament or normal ESEA season without having the capabilities that we have with the production that we have on this this series, I should say. We'll start things off again, in a bit more of a happy note, taking down one of the danger men that we've been so familiar with high up on the leaderboard. Light Dice does pick up TVS. Still a 4v4. Some utility usage getting laid out by SBT, but he's warded off the position with some accurate AK fire. It's going to put him on check, ready in case he does get pushed, which may materialize at some point, but the bomb is going to get planted before anything happens.
That is fantastic. Still
Have
getting
you
over that one.
recovered?
I think I've recovered, and what hasn't recovered is potentially the Prodigies. They have got 2 rounds in a row here, looking for more. Milky, that nade's going to do a lot of damage. Does just force, it splits them up. You can see that the FNK is forced to fall, oh no, sorry, Straxy's forced to fall back, which does just mean Nolan goes in ahead, and now these low HP players are just getting just destroyed. Milky with 4 kills there. That nade does so much without getting a kill. And you can see FNK's frustration. The smile is so quickly evaporated from his face. 9-2-3. This is the most CT-sided map in the map pool. You tend to see 10 as a minimum for the CT side. And right now, Prodigies can only get 6. This is not looking good for them whatsoever. And just a lovely spray transfer there from the Bulgarian. Oh, this is not looking, it's really not looking great. I sound like a broken record player.
No, but I mean, you're right in what you're saying. You know, 2 more CT sides. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say 2 more CT rounds, and it becomes a bit more tangible, right? From an 11-4.
It's a
10-5.
It's a big like,
ask.
I can see what you're trying to say, and I can understand where you're coming from, but it's almost like, if I wasn't sitting here on the Prodigy channel, I'd probably say that's as close to game over as you can possibly get. You had a 16-2 on you had 16-2 on the Prodigy's map pick go against them. You've got Ancient. You're 10-3 down on the CT side, and it's not even like the rounds that you're winning. Like, you know, you got TVS getting a no scope and a ninja defuse. You've got these rounds that are okay. It's definitely a lot closer than Inferno. You know, you're getting a lot of situations where you are saving, just like a 1 versus 2, for instance. But it still just doesn't feel close. It still feels like a very dominant game for Believe Gaming, and they're looking to just plant their spot in advance for season 43. The Prodigies, if they come back here, that would be some comeback. That would genuinely be one for the records.
Touch wood. I've got a wooden desk, so I've done it. It does happen. It materializes, because I want to see this go to map 3. You know, I want Prodigies to win this series out as best they possibly can. I mean, I get the mentality behind it, and I get the tilt factor, but I believe they can dig deep in this T side and potentially swing things into favor, especially if they're going to play, you know, as loosely as they have been. Oh, good kill there from Nolan onto Shanky, but Light Dice is able to convert off the back of it. It's now still stacked at a 3v3. Or similar of health pools you could possibly imagine as 3v3 as well. As I said, it was the 2v3. Can't fault the time in there, mate.
Still a winnable round. HP,
yeah, definitely.
But FNK rotating off there just makes it a wee bit harder. Straxy will get the sound cues, which will allow for the IGL to come back. But while they've spotted Straxy out, that nade will do a lot of damage and forces Scrimmo into his crosshairs. Hybrid now in a 1 versus 2. He knows where they both are. He'll isolate the 1v1. And oh, what a kill. Left eye peek. He doesn't care. He's even going to fake the rotation towards B and will just go A, which is completely for free. Hybrid. He's had a good game. He's had a good series up against FNK. Man's just fallen out of his chair. Can he now elevate the Prodigies, though, onto a 4th round? He's got a good timing. It all completely comes down to the fact does Hybrid check behind, and well, FNK, he spotted him out. He knows where he is, encroaching towards his position, will hard clear him, and it seems like he will just shoot him in the side of the head. Hybrid did turn around. Okay, he did turn around. You can see FNK's like the sigh of relief there for a second, but no. Okay, this is going better. This is the 4th round. You said 10-5 was, you know, it was better, but this last round, how much will it really matter?
I mean, the reason why I say 10-5, 11-4, it feels like a more winnable side, or more recoverable side from CT, from second half standings, right? I will get my words right around at some point during this evening, of course, but it feels a little bit more, you know, you can have a bit more room to maneuver with it. Going in from map 1, first half into second half with 2 rounds. Like, you have no room to maneuver, you have no mistake room, no wiggle room. But at least when you have like 5-6 rounds that you can kind of play with, it gives you a bit more options to kind of get the feelers out and figure out, you know, which way that dynamic is going to change as far as your second half. TVS here, we first man point of contact. With the AWP in hand still, you'll get warded off position by that good Molotov there. SBT will peek down into Milky, land an awful lot of shots on one, but not as much onto Light Dice. No trade in favour of Believe Gaming there, so that does go in favour of Prodigies, but still more kills out there to be taken up. And Nolan's happy to receive them. Gets the first 2. SPT clears out Scrimmo. It's now left to a 1v5. SPT on low HP. He will get taken out the fight by Light Dice, who's going to immediately rotate back into position. But TVS is good for the final frag. 10-5. My prediction comes true. This is a first. A first for me, to be completely honest.
This is a good start, though. 10-5 is definitely... It's achievable, but it's really going to be difficult. The Prodigies have a long way to come. As I said, it feels close to the Inferno, but again, that is because you are almost on the C side of Ancient. But we'll be going to add an after break. Let's see if Prodigies can get the reverse sweep and an unreal comeback on the T side of Ancient.
Welcome back. We're heading into the second half of Map 2 on Ancient. Wonderful advert there from Razer. Don't forget, of course, the giveaway is still going on in stream. You can get involved by answering the question. It'll pop up every so often. Get yourselves involved. You could win yourself a mouse, a keyboard, and also the skin. I mean, what more could you ask for? You know, that's practically a full setup, as well as a gun for you to mess around with in game. An AK Nightwish from memory.
Yes, I think you are correct. Offset memory. This is okay. A little bit of salvation towards the end there. It's again a very, very long way though, I was saying. And you can see that there is a bit of just it's not smiles on these guys' faces. This is probably the most challenge they've had this season. This is where they really have to knuckle down, and this is where especially someone like Frog, the coach, needs to start having some impact in a very dramatic way of, I think, sometimes cooling down these players. When we have listened to comms, we have heard quite a lot of frustration, and that isn't necessarily quite good. Some of the rounds is like, guys, where's the mid smoke? Where's this flashbang? And just things like that is not what you want. We have seen some heroic plays, especially from TVS on his 1 versus 2 ninja defuse. Can we see more of that on the T side? You goddamn believe we will.
I want it to. I genuinely do. Because I mean, realistically speaking, from like from an overhead perspective, one of the more favorable things from a commentator side is watching a team like this where you're 10-5, 11-4, in that kind of region, pull back that second half and dominate into that second half. You got the Honey Badger scenario is what I likened it to a while back, and I got ripped on for it by like 2 or 3 commentator friends, yourself not included, of course. But it is that kind of mentality. You're backed up in a corner, but you've got everything to fight for now, right? And it's just a case of fighting as much and as hard as you possibly can. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting second half, to say the least. Pistol round is key. It's key regardless of what scenario you're in, but this probably feels a bit more heavily weighted than normal.
Yeah, it's I believe though they can do us, and well, if you're a Bulgarian fan, you probably believe in Believe Gaming because they are feeling hot right now. Can they continue on the succession over on the CT side? FNK looks like it will be the first point of contact, as they are faking out this B bomb site, maybe overcomplicating things a wee bit, but we do love a full rotation for Believe Gaming, which will mean the Prodigies get a free A bomb site. And okay, SBT does save his teammate. That's the advantage that the Prodigies were looking for. Can they carry through this? This pistol round is so important for the rest of this half. And doing it cleanly as well will just bump up their confidence. However, 4 versus 4 now. The kid's still alive.
He's still alive. It depends how quickly they can push this rotation in. SBT playing the backlines like that sends dangerous message between all the teammates. Hybrid will be good for it. Recovers the dropped kit. He's going to have to stick it at some point, though. Straxy's going to hold on to that bomb. Just a little bit too late getting that rotation in, but also he's got players still in front of him. No one's pushing out into that site to get back that control. It's just a minor mistake like that awards an 11th round in favor of Believe Gaming.
That is unfortunate to say the least. You have a triple flank and it almost does just work. But yeah, that's really a punch in the gut right there. You can see the just like, come on, how have we lost that round? They will, because of the extra 800 loss bonus from the bomb plant, will allow Nolan to get an AK, will allow TVS to get Mac 10, allows people like SPT to get the Deagle armor utility as well. So it's not looking like the end of the world, but I think a round like this is really do or die, because as soon as you lose this for the Prodigies, you're giving Believe Gaming just that added momentum. They're up against an eco onto round number 18. They're on to 13, and they've got everything behind them.
Trying to think of what these comms are going to be like. I mean, we haven't got a comms round coming up, but I can almost imagine. Oh, never mind. We do actually have a comms round. Never mind. Production just done me over. There we go. Straight into a comms round, though, for you, ladies and gents. We'll be back in a bit.
I'm gonna call the fish.
Yeah, you want.
Fuck, it failed.
Do it.
Flashing. Flash again.
Molotov down,
You missed
banana.
window. You missed window.
Dead window.
Close banana.
Hold them. Freeze, hold them.
Alright,
Everywhere.
4v3.
Might be one more.
I can down mid, Sippos.
I'm back in main.
Dead donut.
The A player, no?
Can we
Yes,
just go
I
together
think.
somewhere?
Just freeze B. I will search A alone.
One more banana, down.
We can still take it.
Yeah, I'm going from main.
Both B.
I'm gonna run main.
Do it.
Just have
And
one more.
Just try to plant for donut. I'm holding your city cross.
I'm worried. I'm gonna stay around side. City coming one.
I have city cross.
Yeah,
Wait,
pushing
donut.
upper.
One should be half.
Don't see donut. Checking donut. Don't see. I have city cross. City.
Let's try.
Imagine he crush picks that, man. Bro, but fucking these rounds, man. We really have to win it, boys. Like,
I share that anger. It's just like they should be winning this, and it's just not going their way. Was that 4 versus 2? Just dry peaks, and they're neglected. I was saying that's a round they had to win, and what's done even worse is that they've lost that, and it's the fashion that they've lost it. You've got Scrimo just peeking down B. You've got Scrimo just peeking down A. Superb from him, to be honest, but that's definitely a round where you're really a punch in the gut, because it was so close, because they got the bomb down. I was talking about the extra $800. The Prodigies will invest back into this. Not much utility, but they've got the firepower, and they're looking to target it towards the A bomb site, where Hybrid will be meeting them head on.
Indeed, and look at the way that this spread has happened. You've got 3 still stacked up towards site. You've got 2 players holding up towards donut. Got to hear those comms coming through. The rotations have to be super quick from Believe Gaming if they're going to try and secure this round out. But Prodigies have actually done extremely well to get themselves into site with a minimal amount of damage taken, initially at least anyway. But that's SPT and TVS that are put on check. Post-plant positioning has got to be key here from the Prodigies. TVS up on high. SPT down low, getting a good trade off the back of these two if possible. Oh, first will come through, the flashbang will go out, and it's good play from SPT. Pushes off the back of that flashbang, secures the second, wins that round for them essentially.
We take those though. We take those.
Yeah, we do take
6
those.
to 12. Half the scoreline of Believe Gaming. Getting into the later parts of this map as well. So all could be done in a couple of rounds. Or you could be still seeing Dust 2, a third map, which would be, I mean, some comeback this would be. And this is when you really start to prove yourself. And getting advanced in this manner would be something of legend. and it would really just cement what it is to be a part of the Prodigy Agency. And now they
Yeah, I
will
mean,
have the buys at least.
You're right in what you're saying. Getting advanced on something like this it's one of those sort of things that'll be on the forefront of any commentator's mind as they step into advanced next season, right? Like that is something that everyone will kind of draw back on. But they need to start converting big to begin with. FNK manages to plug the gap. Oh, Nolan gets plugged himself. Unfortunately, there that knife from Hybrid coming into fruition. Loki will secure a kill onto TVS, and all these frags are going Believe's way there.
Yeah, and especially with the knife kill, if Hybrid doesn't die, he'll probably be dropping over an AWP as well.
Yeah.
And it... Oh, no ways to get another. No. Oh, okay. I was going to say, that 2 knife kills in 1 round wouldn't be ideal, but FNK now, the IGL himself, secures the first with the Galil. Doesn't have the bomb in his back, because it's in the hands of Shike and Scrimmo. 55 seconds, they know where he is, and Shike will initiate the first contact, and he'll be successful in doing so.
Dire Straits, unfortunately, for Prodigies. I think as much as you and I were sitting here wanting this to go to map 3, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's heading that direction unless something drastic changes, and it needs to change incredibly quickly. No AWP dropped over though from Hybrid. See a full smack of utility instead. I think an M4 got dropped over as well also. Immediate push here from the Prodigies, trying to put that pressure. K-player Straxy will finish like off in the end. Scrimmo is good for the first, he's not good for the second, however. Nolan will finish him off. This is a retake now starting to materialise from Believe Gaming. Only 1 defuse kit in control in the hands of this man that we're watching at the moment. There's a lot of utility usage that could come out from them to get this retake into position. That first bit of utility starts to burn through SBT. It's left to FNK and Straxy. We've got good post plant positions of both, in fairness. FNK's got the back of the bomb diffuser, but the diffuser's been stuck, and that's 14. Grim, what are we... I mean, how do you break that round down, right? Like, it's just mistakes.
Mistake was mistake, and I think that just does correlate to what we've seen so far today. Just continuous plummet of despair for this young side. Main might just be where they're residing next season. 14 to 6. There's 2 more rounds for Believe Gaming. Prodigies, they do have a buy again. TVS on the big green. First time we've seen him on the T side. He has no AWP to oppose him. It'd definitely be a round where they could pick up. And the money isn't great for Believe, because especially with only 1 player staying alive in the round prior.
If they're going to do it, this is the round to do it in, right? You want to apply that pressure. Okay, 14-6. It's not the nicest round difference to recover back from, but win this one. The money situation, as you mentioned, doesn't look too healthy on Believe Gaming. It's going to force them into an eco into the next round. Potentially get that scoreline back up on even ground, more or less, at 14-7, 14-8, potentially after 2 rounds lost. It all depends on where these kills fall at the minute, and right now, you do have Prodigies pipping in the right direction, with Scrimmo being taken out of the fight.
The AWP already coming into fruition. SBT on a very nice aggressive angle. They might not anticipate him to be so close. Light Dice does, and wow, 2 quick kills. You blink and you miss it. The Prodigies with 35 seconds left, completely split apart. FNK will pull 1 back to even out the 9. But he doesn't expect Hybrid to be in donut, but it might not even matter, as they will be looking to progress towards the A-bomb site. It's all down to Nolan here. He has to win the gun battle, and he does not. TVS, he has been heard. Light Dice will commit towards the A-bomb site. 15 seconds left. This AWP from Sweden is going to have to pop off in such a ridiculous manner. 10 seconds, just no one's peeking. He's going to try plant the bomb, but as I say that, Light Dice gets the second knife kill for the roster on Ancient, and will also secure their match points going into a long journey for the Prodigies if they want to come back from this. They had the opening pick and it all crumbles away.
As much as it pains me to say this, I just don't see it happening, unfortunately. I don't see us going. I'm going to continue to believe, of course. I want it to happen. I want us to go to OT on this map and take us to a third map. But there's been unfortunately too many mistakes from the Prodigy side so far, and it only matters on one round, right? That's the thing of it. Starts off well, however. I will eat my words to a certain extent. Nolan will pick up the first couple of frags there, but Shike is good on the AWP. Take him out of the fight. It's this A control with just no regard for his own safety there with the AWP pushed up deep.
I respect it.
I do as well, in fairness. I like that from an AWP player. I believe Gaming are happy to let this one go in favour of Prodigies. Don't have the finances, in fairness, to fight this one and take it through into the next. So keep those two M4s in play. Got a full stack of armor on both players as well. I would say they've got a good bit of utility, but the one flashbang between two doesn't really favour too much, at least anyway, into the next round.
Yeah, I mean, they are on double eco here, so Believe Gaming will be fighting against this round. Two A1Ss could prove to be very damaging. We've seen 2v4s won. Now, if they just have support from a couple decoy grenades in the form of a human being, they can it's actually still could be a dangerous round for Prodigies. Winning this will secure yourself 9 rounds pretty much with the eco win as well. And well, they've got to win quite a fair few rounds flawlessly. 8 to be exact now. They want to push to overtime. And if they do that, hats off to them. It's looking just harder and harder as we go along. Good from Nolan there in the middle of the Galil.
Yeah.
Opening up this round perfectly. If there's ever a start, that would be it.
See the M4 split between two sites. And TVS would normally be the first man to take that initial bit of contact, but it doesn't happen there from the mid side. Prodigies are stacking themselves up ready to push in towards the site control, but Scrimmels there good with the M4 to begin this push off. Like Dice has got the flank, however.
Ooh,
Okay. Alright then.
It's one of the two A1Ss. Oh, both A1Ss have died. The A1S will be picked up by Shike, but has no armor. And okay, good round from Prodigies. 4 players stay alive. You're just bolstering your economy a little bit, getting a few eco frags for the likes of TVS and Nolan. Nolan having a great game. The sub for this one, top frag at 19 to 17. And he may be the saving factor for this Prodigy side. Straxy, someone who we were hyping up on Inferno for hitting some tasty shots, 8 to 18, nowhere to be seen. And TVS hasn't had the greatest of impacts I would have liked, but of 3k in that round, anti-eco, as I said, boosting the confidence. Now, this gun round is really going to matter. Believe Gaming, they don't have the greatest of buy with the loss bonus not being too great on 2400. This is where, oh, sorry, they don't even have a buy here. What am I on about? Because they forced loss round this next round. These next 2 rounds for Prodigies are probably the 2 most important ones.
Yeah, take this one, put it at 15-9, take the next one, potentially put it at 15-10. So potentially have to put it to 15-10 even. You've got 5 flawless rounds back to back if anything. Nolan and SPT will start things off, but they'll fall immediately. Scribble. But the 5-7's been buffed. 100%.
He wants vengeance. Mate, the 5-7's broken. We were talking about it. I talk about this all the time. 5-7's busted.
Yeah,
you got one tap at close range, like 98 damage at regardless.
Yeah, we were when we were at Insomnia together. I remember speaking to you about it, weirdly enough. And I remember making when we were sitting watching it with the other
how
UKCS
sober
guys.
Was I?
I can't remember much of it, to be completely truthful with you. Technically, it was my holiday, so I was allowed to drink, but I think you were working, so I don't know about that one.
I was working in the days.
In the days, yeah. There you go.
I was late evenings as well. Because we finished at like 11 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
TF2 though was when I got my time off.
That game was nuts.
Did you watch the TF2 Grand Finals?
It seemed to go on for like 16 hours, mate. I didn't really have much of a chance not to watch it, in fairness.
Did you hear us just shouting in the back?
Oh, yeah. I was sat the other side of the hall, mate, and I could hear you lot shouting at the top end. But,
a lot of big names on that table. That was good fun.
It was good fun. It was very good fun indeed. I remember going up to grab something to eat, grab a drink from the bar, and getting just manhandled by like 6 different UKCS people, and I was like, okay,
That sounds about right, to be honest.
this is
We
how
were
that
very
night's going on.
We were very excited. However, what is exciting is the Prodigies on this gun round, a lot of damage inflicted to SBT early on. The Frenchman taking a wee blow. Light Dice actually just walking straight past him, and he secures 21 frags. Does he expect Scrimmo? No. Is there a trade? No.
Oh, hybrid. It's in such a good position to take that kill onto SBT. That wards off any kind of mid control that Prodigies may have been able to clutch out of the back of those 2 opening picks. And it kind of forced their hand. But even haven't read into it as such, as of yet, at least anyway, they do have an anchor player that's kind of rotating between mid and flirting with the prospects of heading back over towards the B side. But at the minute, control of movement and space does go in favour of Prodigies. Scrimmo will get taken out by Straxy. On plant should come in. Those footsteps are long. You've got to be hearing those. I mean, he's not exactly being quiet about that rotation, but FNK will get dropped. TVS is good for that pick. Good flashbang to get cleared through by Straxy, and it's now 1v2. Okay, we should see 10 on the board here, unless Hybrid can pull something magical out of his pocket.
I mean, it's possible, especially with him securing that first. He knows that Straxy's on the bomb side. 15 seconds. 16-year-old Swedish player up against Hybrid. He sticks the bomb, peeks out into him, and Hybrid will secure the 1 versus 2 to secure Believe Gaming first place in ESEA Intermediate Season 42. They will secure their place in advance next season, and the Prodigies, they will make it to main, but they will fall at the final hurdle. They dropped 3 maps over the course of this entire season, and in this final, they'll add 2 more to that tally. Very unfortunate from the boys, but a very good effort in total for this season. Exceeded a lot of expectations, to be fair to say, when you look at the teams like Gen 1, who are JN and Nono, 2 French superstars who made advanced playoffs last season, and the Prodigies did better than that. So I think they can hold their heads up high, and next season's looking very promising for this young squad.
It is indeed, and I remember we spoke to when we spoke to Jerome a couple of weeks back. You know, obviously this team is set up to show these players off in their best light, and I think, to be completely truthful, tonight may not show it in a massive way, but just look over the entirety of the season, how mad they've been as far as playability together, melding together on different maps, and really just kind of flaring and showing how well they can perform against, you know, quite high profile teams. Speaking of high profile things, however, we do have a winner for the giveaway. The winner is, and I'm going to murder this name. It's going to be Renta Roach 21. Well, I'm going to say it like, yeah. I'm getting
so
told by
gets
production.
he
That's a
gets-
yeah. So we'll
that's
go
good
with that.
enough. He gets the AK-47 Nightwash and wear, and he also has a choice between the 2 mice, which I was saying one's brand new, so that's really good. We also have Frog, the coach, on like just we've got him as an interview coming up. And oh, hey, Mr. Frog UK or Frog CS,
Hello,
whatever
hello.
let's be referred to. Firstly, man, how are you doing? How are you feeling after that loss?
I mean, I can't hide the fact that we're not feeling great. But at the end of the day, I think we should still be proud. Our goal for the season really was just make playoffs, secure main, and anything after that is just a nice little bonus. Obviously, we really thought we could make it all the way to advanced. I'm disappointed in myself a little bit, but I think the team, has played really well throughout the season. We didn't play like ourselves today. We weren't ready, and there's nothing to beat yourself up about. We did our best, and they were the better team today.
Yeah, I think me and Grimmy were talking more or less in the break between the first map and the second map. That first map was a bit of a tilter, and then you could kind of hear in the comms rounds, you could see it as well with the cams. It kind of got, it feels like it got to the players quite a bit, and to yourself as well also. I think that's fairly safe to say going into map 2 that you still got that kind of hanging over the top of you, right?
For sure. I mean, we tried to think of it as, we've got everything to win and they've got everything to lose. That was kind of the mentality we had going into it at the start. Obviously, we just really did not play like we usually do on Inferno. It's usually a good comfort pick for us. Maybe we should have just, revised a few things because we've not played it in a little bit. yeah, just a bit disappointing. But generally, I want to give a shout out to the players. I don't think anyone was, it's maybe a bit towards the end we were a little tilted, but everyone kind of kept their spirits high. I don't think anyone was ever like we're fully out of the game until we lost, right? So um,
Mhm.
really, the boys had a strong mental. We had a few rounds there where they had already hit match point and we were down, and we still kept going. We got a few nice clutches, but generally, I think their individuals just showed up much better than we did today, and it is what it is.
Looking at the
Yeah.
communications in the game, we saw someone's getting a little bit flustered, and we were talking about when we heard the comms, you had sometimes a calming voice. How important do you think it is, especially for some of these younger players, to have you kind of in the back sometimes to just add input where it was sometimes missed in the flurry of communication?
I mean, I think I try to provide input where I can. Normally, we have very vocal players, right? Even if it's not always the most useful information, we got some people that are quite talkative. And but I try to provide info wherever I feel like it's lacking. I think there were a few miscommunications today that really cost us some rounds. And I won't lie, I'm disappointed in myself. I feel like I could have probably done a lot more. But generally, like SBT and FNK bring a lot to the team in terms of ideas. Even TVS calls around himself at the op sometimes. Straxy suggests things. Nolan had a lot of good calls today on Ancient. So I try to kind of bring everything together where I can, but the players, are all pretty good. Is just trying to like make sure everyone's in line. We're not getting too tilted. We're still positive. We keep our heads in it, and it's not over till it's over, right? So it's just how it is.
And I
Yeah,
guess, well,
definitely.
from me as well. So I think because we don't want to take too much of your time, just want to end it off here. What are the plans for next season? So you haven't made advance. You knew that your plan was to make playoffs. You've made main. So I guess from your perspective, you've already done one better. What are the plans then for next season?
I mean, I don't know. I think generally we should be happy with what we did, right? It's disappointing to lose, but we still placed second, even though you get main either way, you only get advanced if you win. It's kind of disappointing in that sense, but um like we overachieved a little bit, and that's good. And I think everyone's going to be pretty happy with that. We had, incredible performances by everyone throughout the season. The point of the Prodigies obviously is to get these players and shine a light on them and maybe get them on academy teams and lower tier European teams, and really that's the goal. It's to see where we can rehome these guys and see them flourish in the future. So I hope we have a bit of that. As silly as it might sound, I hope we have some different players next season because I want to see them move on and yeah, I'm really proud of the boys. I wrote to them a few days ago in our Discord, and I wrote them all nice little messages. But I'm really happy with the performances everyone's put up. We'll see what happens with next season, who has offers, and what the roster looks like. Maybe we bring in some new talents and go again in main and have maybe an easier chance at making advanced where we don't have to win the whole thing. But I don't know. I think generally we're pretty happy with everything that happened. Obviously, we would have loved to win, but it is what it is. Second place is not bad, and we just got to keep a positive attitude and keep looking forward.
Perfect, man. Thank you
Definitely.
so much for your time, and we hope to see you again next time. I'm looking for an interview with you at the beginning of next season, so we can talk about some of these new players you're bringing in. But thank you very much, Mr. Frog,
All
and
right.
I'll leave you there for tonight. And as well, I think that's the stream being wrapped up over here because we have just finished. And yeah, I guess Reaper, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, Frog's put it, hit the nail on the head, right? Like, super happy. Main is achieved. Like, that's a really good achievement in the first place. Yeah, yes, it does suck in the way that you have to get to advance or how you can get to advanced. But having that ability to get into main, really showing these players in the truest of lights. That this is how they play together. This is how their mentality works when they're in these sort of positions. Like, yeah, he's hit the nail on the head perfectly. I think what he mentioned again is such a weird concept to me, but at the same time makes the most sense. And I mentioned this to Jerome a couple of weeks back when we were talking. It's really difficult from a commentator to sit here and go like, I want these players to go to different teams because you never really want that to happen. But this is the sort of team environment that they do, So it's
Yeah.
always like it feels like a new way of thinking about things, a new way of doing things. But I do think that a few of these players will end up on some different teams into the next season. Especially the likes of players like TVS, for example, players like Straxy. I think any team would be hard pressed not to go for a player of those sort of standings. SBT as well, like the whole lot of them. New roster for main, start again fresh. Let's see what next season brings. We just saw the previous match lineups. I think we should have an MVP screen, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we will have one at some stage. I think we are
Not
just
yet,
waiting a
not
little bit
yet.
for it. And something to say about looking at these academy teams. We just saw Shaik on. He was the victor of this match. He played for OG Academy, and they made playoffs in last season. So these players are at the level to play within these within these tournaments. Awaken, another Bulgarian AWPer. Yes, you replaced Shaik on OG Academy just like in the last month for this upcoming season. He was one of the original Prodigy players, and he went over to the Beyond Possible team. So these are and we've seen a multitude of players go either into academy rosters, or I think like Too High was the first example. He went straight to Blink. He went to ECL Challenger, basically the top level that you can play at within ESEA. And we have seen a lot of these players go further. And I think maybe if not academy squads, teams within those regions and within those areas, and it's definitely possible. All these players, a lot of them, to be honest, have played at maybe even a higher level than academy rosters. We saw TVS just last week win a tournament with Royals where he bagged 5,000 euros for the team up against a Latvian team. So we have got MVP on the screen as well. And what we've talked about rambling of like these guys have had quite a bit of success outside of the Prodigy roster in their past, and coming second in main, maybe some of them a little bit disappointed, but as Frog said, exceeding a level of expectations that they would have had coming into the season. And main, maybe we see a new roster, maybe we don't. Whatever it will be, advanced is going to be on the cards, and I think it'll be very, very possible. But MVP should be coming up soon, I think, and we will see it now. The MVP of this match will be the good old drumroll. SBT, the Frenchman. I think this is something that we were almost I think it's predicted. There was a bit of struggle for these guys. No one had ridiculously good stats because of how potentially one-sided it was. SBT, he's played for Ambush, he's played in DICE in the last 2 years. Not done huge internationally in his regional scene. He's done very well in the French ESL Championship. He's played advanced for multiple seasons, and he's brought that experience into this last game, but it just hasn't been quite enough. And the stats for this whole game, for the whole series, will be on the screen now. And we actually walked with 6 players in total. We're just missing out the good old Jerome. But yeah, you can see a little bit of a one-sided affair. Milky topping the scoreline for the whole server, 39-27, 103 ADR. So very well deserved for Believe Gaming. And as you can see, Nolan did really well in that second map when he did sub in. He was actually really, really well. Straxy had a great map 1 and just fell off in the second map.
Yeah. I mean, again, safe to say, looking at the previous matchups, this isn't the kind of norm from Prodigies. We talk about SBT's ADR 76.69 there as it appears on screen. Like I mentioned this before we even went live. Today we were doing a little kind of like pre-brief talk about what were expectations and what we were going into. Like I don't think I've seen many maps where SBT's posted less than 90 plus. The man is normally in triple digits, game after game. So it is definitely surprising. Better side won on the day, but there is still an entire new season coming up soon. So we have that to look forward to regardless. But otherwise, I think that's it from all of us here. Thank you once again for watching. Thank you, of course, the wonderful sponsors at the bottom of your screen. That being Razer, CSmoney, Refrag, and Scope GG. Don't forget to get involved with those guys. And keep an eye out on Twitter for more updates from Prodigies and ourselves. But have a great evening all. Peace. Take it easy. Enjoy.